Welcome to your weekly UAS news update, the place where you don't get your news 2 weeks late. And this is the week of November 29th, 2021. This week we get 4 topics. The first one is, well, kind of a big deal if you're operating under a COA, a Certificate of Authorization from the FAA in public safety. There's a change, and that's a major change. The next thing is we'll talk about a firefighting drone, or drones actually, using a swarm of drones to fight fires. We'll talk about a win for UAS operators in a county in Michigan. Michigan seems to be fighting a lot of different roles, and we'll talk about what happened there. And then lastly, we'll talk about the NOTAMs, and the meaning of NOTAM is changing, so we'll talk about that. Let's get to it. All right, the first story this week is for people that are operating under a COA, Certificate of Authorization from the FAA. They've added language that now includes training or allows training under a COA. So let me back out a little bit. If you're operating under a state, local, or tribal agency and you have a Certificate of Authorization, you know, or maybe you didn't and you did it anyway, but you were actually not allowed to do training flights under a COA because the COA is designed simply for operations that are designed for public safety. This has been a long battle. I know Charles Werner from Drone Responders has been fighting for this for a very long time, trying to get training included in here. And it looks like the FAA is finally changing this. So if you are operating, you no longer need to have a Part 107 to do training flights under a COA. With that being said, it's still a great idea to have Part 107 if you're operating, because there is a lot of other things that you still can do under a COA. For example, demonstrations still has to be done under Part 107. But with that being said, this is kind of a good thing. This is a move forward. This is showing that I think the FAA is listening to the needs of people, especially public safety operators. Now, the training is limited to agencies that own aircraft, that have their own aircraft, so you have to use an aircraft from the agency, the crew only from that agency, and then missions that only meet governmental function requirements. So you have to train for missions that are related to governmental functions. Any kind of other training by other entities or non-owned aircraft is still not a public aircraft operation, so that doesn't fall under the COA. I know it may be a little bit confusing. I'm going to put a link down here so you can see the information from the FAA, but I think that's a positive move in the right direction. The second story this week is firefighting drones. This is the author of a 27 patent that has created a new paper. He released a new paper, and in the paper, they're talking about how many drones it would take to actually fight a fire, depending on the size of the drone, depending on the fuel, depending on the winds, the humidity, and then the fuel moisture content. From what they're showing is that drones can be used as short-range tankers that are going to drop between 1 and 13 gallons of water on the fire to get it to stop. The paper describes that about 75 linear meters, so it's about 246 feet, of fires can actually be extinguished using 120 drones that would be carrying about 20 liters or 5 gallons each, and then 80 drones or 80 drones that would be carrying 30 liters or 8 gallons each. This is interesting because there's been a lot of talks about how we can try to not use actual aircraft to go fight fires unless it's absolutely necessary for much larger sizes. But if the fire is caught early on, it doesn't need nearly as much fuel. The problem is that there's no technology at the moment that's going to find when the fire is starting. But imagine in the future if we could have drones that are either patrolling or have sensors that can figure out when there's a fire somewhere and pick it up right away from the get-go, from the minute that the fire is starting, and then extinguish it, that we would need a lot smaller sizes drones or aircraft in order to do this. So this is a great thing. I think this is a positive thing. I'm sure in the future we'll see more. Living in Arizona, kind of a big deal for us because we have forest fires every single year, and this is something that could help save lives, save people's property, and save the forest, quite frankly. Next thing is U.S. operators in Michigan. This is in Ottawa County in Michigan. Had a big win this week. There was a county regulation that was proposed that required UAS flights to have a permit, and that was struck down this week. There was a 15-page opinion that was published, and what happens is that Michigan has what's called a state preemption law, and under the preemption law, the local municipalities don't have the rights to create additional drone laws. The state has full control of this. This is the case in several states around the country. Arizona is one of them. Michigan is one of them. but it doesn't seem like it's preventing some of these cities or local municipalities from creating their own, well, shenanigans in this case. And then until somebody fights it in court, then it can stay in the books for a very long time, even though it's technically illegal. So I'm sure some of the people that we've interviewed on the Pixel Drone Show before, Ryan Latourette has been involved with some of these. I'm sure he was involved with this one. I haven't seen him talk about it, but I'm sure he's been behind the scene on this. So this is a great win. If you have a state preemption in your state, then you need to be paying attention to this because, again, there may be municipalities that are trying to prevent you from flying when they don't have any rights to do so. All right, last story this week is NOTAM changes. NOTAMs are going to be the same. They're still notices to help people that are flying, but in this case, they are going to be renamed. Instead of notices to airmen, they are now called notices to air missions. And this change is effective on December 2nd, which is, well, technically yesterday if you're watching this video today on the day that it's being released. I'm going to put a link down to the change. It's not really that big of a deal. It's just a name change, quite frankly. The NOTAMs are still doing the same. They're still extremely complicated. They're still broken, in my opinion. They still need to be changed and be looked at, but at least the name now has changed. So that's something. We're going to be changing the course. If you're part of the course, we'll have a note in there, and then we'll be re-recording the video eventually when we get around to it. And if you have any questions about this, leave them in the comments, and we'll be able to help you. That's all I have for this week. As always, like, subscribe, leave your comments, and then I will see you guys next week.